Okay, look, I'm gonna be freaking real. I feel black-pilled. I really do. I feel black-pilled. You know, we're in 2020 now. And this is actually gonna be the first video that I'm gonna make in the new decade. And it's like, you know, things are just like freaking... It's like... It's like a turd in the toilet, and it's just going around and round and around, and eventually, whoop, the turd goes down. You know, it's just this... It feels like, you know, things are just like worse and worse and worse. Okay. So here's the problem. The big problem. I've started out this YouTube channel as an alt-right YouTube channel. You know, if you look at my early videos, I had absolutely no problem calling myself alt-right. You know, I made a video called The Founding Fathers Would Have Been Alt-Right. I made a video titled The Aeneid and the Alt-Right. So I use the label alt-right frequently to describe myself and this channel. This channel was an alt-right channel. But, you know, here's the problem. In 2019, what basically happened, as you probably know, is that the term alt-right has fallen out of favor. You know, people just dropped the label. The alt-right, as it existed in 2016 and 2017, is dead. Now, the movement still exists, so that's a good thing. And it's the same people, but, you know, we're calling ourselves a different thing now. We're calling ourselves the distant right now. So, you know, I've been thinking about the direction that I want to take this channel, because, you know, when I started this YouTube channel, I didn't think that people were going to abandon the alt-right. And this channel is an alt-right YouTube channel, and since the alt-right is, at least the label, is dead, and it's been replaced with the distant right, I gotta think about where I want this channel to go forward from now on. Now, I actually... Millennial Woes did his New Year's Day AMA, and under my real name, I asked him the question, should we use the label alt-right? And he's like, no, it's dead. And a lot of people in the chat were saying it's dead. So the general consensus in the movement that was once called the alt-right is that the alt-right's dead. Now, when I say it's dead, I don't mean that the movement itself is dead. I mean that the label is dead, and the movement as it existed in 2016 and 2017 is dead. So, now, here's the problem. If my intention for this channel was for it to be an alt-right channel, where do I go from here if the alt-right, at least the label, is dead? You know, and you might be thinking, oh, well, just start making dissident right content. Call yourself dissident right, and start making dissident right-wing content. But there's two problems with it. One, you know, it kind of sucks to abandon a thing and go in a completely different direction just because the original purpose for it is dead. And two, what happens if people drop the label distant right because it's too controversial? Because keep in mind, the only reason why people aren't using the term alt-right anymore is because of Charlottesville. That's the only reason. The term alt-right would not be controversial if it weren't for Charlottesville. Well, no, it would be controversial, but it wouldn't be controversial as it is now. So, the term alt-right is unfortunately, it's become more trouble than it's worth in the minds of most people. But thankfully, the movement itself is not dead. It's evolved into this thing that we now call the dissident right. It's still the same movement. In fact, I might even say that it's kind of stronger because now we're not doing stupid public rallies, so that's a white pill. But, you know. Of course, there's a problem with now referring to myself as dissident right. Because what happens if that label gets dropped and it's replaced with something else? And then, I don't want to keep changing what I call myself just because people decide to drop it. What I'm thinking about doing is just referring to myself as part of the movement, you see, and, people, and referring to the movement that I'm a part of as simply the movement rather than the dissident right or the alt-right. That's what I'm thinking about doing from now on. Because think about it. You can demonize the label alt-right, you can demonize the label dissident right, but if you have a movement that calls itself the movement, or you have a person that says that he is part of the movement, that's a lot harder to demonize that if you're a leftist, because you're not really specifying which movement you're a part of. If I say I'm part of the movement, I could very well be an Antifa faggot. I probably shouldn't use words like that, but why not? I could be an Antifa, some stupid Antifa person, if I say that I'm part of the movement. Or I could be a libertarian when I refer to myself as part of the movement. So that's what I'm thinking about doing from now on. But, I feel it is blackpilling that the alt-right label has been dropped, though. Because the world, we all know the world is shitty. Like, we have frickin' Drag Queen Story Hour. We have the U.S. trying to get itself involved in a war with Iran. I'll make a video on that another time. You have frickin', Hunter Avallone. And I have my issues. Yeah, sure, I've had my issues with Hunter Avallone, but he recently did a video about this new show called Dance Moms that is basically pedophilic. So, there's a lot of things to be blackpilled about going into 2020, going into the new decade. And there's very little to be white-pilled about. So, I feel blackpilled now. But there's another reason why I feel blackpilled. You see, the alt-right in 2016, even though the world was a shitty place, the alt-right in 2016 was a sign that things could get better. Like, when I was the version of myself that existed in 2016 and 2017, pre-Charlottesville, like, I was, even though the world was a bad place, I could entertain myself and make myself feel better with the belief that the alt-right will eventually win and get our ethno-state. With this belief that eventually millennial woes will bring the system crashing down, and we'll have the Civil War, and then, we'll have a utopia. Now, I still believe, don't get me wrong, I haven't backed down from my political views at all. I still believe in the ideology of the movement that was once called the alt-right. And I still believe that we should have ethno-states, and I still believe we're going to have a civil war. I still believe that that it's very likely that this system's going to be crashing down, but, it's reality kind of has set in for me, and there is no guarantee that things will get better, and it's beginning to look like things aren't getting better. Now, the fact that the alt-right had to abandon its own label and change it to a different thing because the left made that label controversial is blackpilling. Now, I still believe that we should try to win, and I still believe that we should fight for our race, and I still believe that ultimately this system's going to fail. But I don't know. It might be possible that maybe white people are just too stupid and there's no hope for them. Look, obviously I've taken a massive black pill. I've taken multiple massive black pills going into 2020. I don't know, I just don't have that same certainty that we're gonna win that I used to have. I'll still fight for our ultimate victory, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. Okay, so, look, I know this is depressing, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. And, I would be lying to you if I said that I believed that if I acted white-pilled, if I acted like I wasn't black-pilled right now, I'd be lying to you, my audience. This channel's not really going to change. I mean, obviously the quality of my content is going to change, and it's going to get better, but the only thing that's really going to change is that, for reasons that I just said earlier, I'm not really going to use the term alt-right anymore, because unfortunately nobody else is using it. People are using the term distant right now. And what I'm probably going to say is what I'm probably going to do is from now on, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to refer to myself as the movement. Just leave it ambiguous. Okay. So, even though I'm now calling myself part of the movement rather than a specific thing, now, of course, we all know what I'm talking about when I say the movement. I'm obviously talking about the dissident right, or the alt-right, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But this channel is still going to be part of the movement, and I'm still going to fight for the movement. So, I'm still fighting. Thanks for watching. You're probably not going to like this video, it's blackpilling, but if you agreed with anything that I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Wolf, signing out.